Yeah, I think we have our quorum, so we can get started. So my name is Greg McMahon. I'm the ARPA coordinator for DDS. Before we start, just go through the requirements of the meeting. Meetings of the ARPA Individual and Family Engagement Committee are public meetings as defined by the Connecticut Freedom of Information Act and should follow those guidelines. As a public meeting is held virtually, it will be recorded and made available to view on the DDS website. Committee members should make a good faith effort to state their name and title each time they speak during the meeting. And if a committee member would like to speak, please raise your hand and one of the co-chairs will acknowledge you. There is no public comment portion of the meeting. Members of the public are able to join, watch, and listen only. So our first agenda item is order, and then to review and approve the minutes. I think Shannon sent them off if you've all looked them over. Any comments, additions, deletions, or anything in the minutes? All right, hearing none, entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Ms. Palladino, ST Director, DDS. Motion to approve the minutes.
Is there a second?
Jessica Sundell, DDS. I second that motion.
All right, thank you. So all those in favor, say aye.
Illinois say so vote. Coordinator here.
All right, anybody opposed? Anyone abstention? Any abstentions? All right, the minutes are approved. Our first agenda item.
Sorry, this is Jerry Kogut, parent and vice chair of the board of Mid-State ARC. I couldn't unmute, but I have to abstain because I wasn't there the last meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so the next agenda item, we have Patricia Simbola, who is the Director of Assistive Technology for DDS. She's going to be talking about some very exciting upcoming events and things going on in and around assistive technology that we want to make sure that this committee knows about and through your own circles actively promote to keep families involved. So I'm going to let Patricia take over.
Hello, everyone. How are you? Thank you so much for having me here today, for asking me to come. It's a great opportunity to let people know about assistive technology on some of the programs that we have going on. So the ARPA funds, as many of you know what they are, has been a huge opportunity for DDS in so many different ways. But assistive technology, it has been massive. Just getting assistive technology into the hands of individuals who need them, and trying to close that digital divide. So that digital divide is a very real thing. It is individuals who receive services from DDS who aren't up to date with the technology that's out today. And it's the common technology, the cell phone, the Chromebook, the laptop. Just think of the cell phone. If you leave home without it, you're running back home to get it. If you don't, there's something missing all day. It's very difficult to live without these devices now because they've become such a part of our lives. So I have a presentation. We have several initiatives going on, but one of the initiatives that we have going on is AT&Me. So let me pull up the screen here. I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
You can. Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Starting the day off right. That's good. All right, so what is AT&Me? AT&Me is basically, it's a train the trainer program. Okay, it's for information and communication technology and digital media. And we want to get individuals learning to use everyday technology. How did we come up with this project? This actually was an award-winning project in Germany. It had won international awards. And what they did was that it was a peer-to-peer learning and teaching experience. for individuals. The way we're going to do it is we're going to do a 1-hour virtual course with a maximum of 5 people to be held weekly. And then there'll be one-on-one classes. And we understand it's going to be a process that's going to have to be repeated a few times. And our goal is to educate and put assistive technology into the hands of 600 people. So there'll be an initial 200 people that they will receive a backpack, a iPhone, a hotspot, a headset, and a Chromebook. Unfortunately, I don't have access to where I have all the equipment stored. Unfortunately, I don't have access to that. Can you guys see my picture? Because I don't see my picture on the screen because I'm on my laptop.
This is Greg McMahon from DDS. Yeah, I see.
Yeah, you can see me. So the backpack is similar to this backpack that I have here. It's a computer backpack. Within that backpack is where the equipment will be. And the iPhone and the hotspot will have 1 year of service on it. It actually has, have 2 months. It'll have a year and 2 months. And the reason for that is we wanted to make sure we had enough time to get the stuff into people's hands and it wasn't cutting into their year of service. So what we did was we had the self-advocate coordinators create the curriculum. And they did such an incredible job that Yana Razumnaya from the North region created 45 slides. You know, the entire presentation is 45 minutes. So I've actually had to cut it down. It's been extremely difficult to cut down. But she did such a great job. Varian Salters and Kevin Arce did such a great job that in going through and cutting down the presentations that they created, the curriculums that they created, there's actually going to be an additional, probably up to 10 additional classes after that. So that they'll have the people that take the course will have the initial information on how the iPhone works, the hotspot works. I'm going to give you some examples of the slides in which they used. They'll have instructions exactly how to use these things, but the additional classes will teach things on, you know, find my phone, how to find my phone. If you lose your phone, you're not going to recover it, how to delete all of your information from it remotely. There's just so many additional lessons that are they're just fabulous. So
I think we have a question, Dr. Ellis.
okay, I can only see my screen, so
Yeah,
I apologize. Yes, Dr. Ellis.
Hi, thank you. This sounds great. I'm just wondering the selection process, how people will be selected to receive this. I know it's probably a limited number. We can't give it to a gazillion people.
Yeah.
To be extreme.
That's a great question, Dr. Ellis, and thank you for asking that. So the initial set of people is 200. And why is that? Because they then have to teach 2 other people. So that's where we get the 600 people. And those initial 200 people, not only will they have the curriculum, learn the class, but then by teaching it twice more, it'll reinforce the lessons that they've learned. But it's 600. So there's 600 of each of the devices that I have, that I spoke of you about, that I have to pack all into these backpacks. So, and they have to take the class in order to receive the backpack and teach it twice more in order to keep it. So that's now it has to stop somewhere, right? If we just kept going and going, we'd be at 1,200, so on and so on. So it's the first initial people that get the backpack and have to teach 2 other classes. And then the 2 people that they teach, they give the backpacks to. When we reach the 200, the people that get the backpacks then don't have to teach any further because there wouldn't be any more backpacks to give. Everybody with me? And we're hoping to have those one-on-one classes as well, because I think they're going to be really important. On June 22nd, we're having a conference. And it is Assistive Technology Innovation Conference, and it's a collaboration between the Connecticut Tech Act and the DD Council and DDS. And we are going to be having 4 classes there. I believe it's 4 classes, 45 minutes each throughout the day. So case managers, we want to announce this out to case managers. We want families to know that if an individual wants to take the class, they would sign up to take the class. We are allowing families to go for free to the conference with 2 other members, maximum of 2 other members. Go sign up for the class. It's important to sign up because when one class gets filled up, you'll be pushed to the next class. So you won't know what class it is. So in registering, you have to fill out the application when you register. Say that you want to take the AT&E class, and then you'll be told what class you'll be in. So there'll be a huge opportunity at the June 22nd conference, which will be held in Rocky Hill, Sheraton in Rocky Hill. So that would be a huge opportunity for people to take the class out. But throughout the year, these self-advocate coordinators will be doing the classes and getting bags out to people.
Patricia, we have another question. This is
Yes.
for
Thank you,
DDS.
Greg.
Lena, Lena Esposito.
Yes, Lena Esposito from Connecticut Family Support Network.
Hi, Lena.
Yes, I have a question. It's about the nonverbal children that they use the protocol.
The what? Excuse me?
Yes. My question is about the nonverbal children.
Yes.
Adults, that they use the protocol.
Yes, yes.
Is protocol is going to be included into the one of the programs that you guys are providing?
This particular program, no, this really is just to get everyday assistive technology into the hands of individuals. So this is, as I said, it's a headset, it's a hotspot, it's a cell phone, the backpack, and a mouse also as well. The reason for the hotspot is so that the Chromebook can receive internet throughout the year as they want to use it. But no, that's not in there. But if that's something that, we could look at, I would feel more comfortable having a speech and language pathologist give a class on that, if that were the case. Any further question to that? Did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you, Patricia.
Okay. We will be, Patricia, I hear that. It sounds like my family calling me Patricia. We will be doing a lending library, which will have other products, which people can borrow. And we do plan on putting some Proloquos in there, some certain devices in there as well. Everyday use products, but that's another initiative to get into, make it through here. So why do this? And as I mentioned before, there's a lot of reasons why people need this technology. You guys have heard me say before, many people have heard me say before, and other presentations that I've given, you can't even order a cup of coffee from Starbucks unless you order it online. I tried calling in and they told me that they wouldn't take my order. I had to go online. I had to go to their app and I had to order a cup of coffee. So it starts to show you how important it is to have this technology in your hands, to order Lyft, to order Uber. And we all know that the individuals that we support often have issues with transportation. Transportation always seems to be one of the leading issues. I did employment for a long time, and if you get a person a job, or they get themselves a job, but getting to the job every day is extremely difficult. So Uber and Lyft has come around, and it can be a bit of a solution, but you're going to have to get online to do it. It's an expensive solution, not the solution, but it's definitely something that's helping individuals in these cases. When COVID was out, you couldn't get a test unless you were online, unless you knew how to get online, unless you had the equipment to get online. So these things are just extremely important to really teach people and put this technology into their hands. And having this money right now through ARPA is just it's just such a wonderful opportunity. It really is an amazing time that we're in right now. So another thing that we did is, if you or your family member decides to go to this conference and you have someone that wants to take the class, the AT&E class, there is an application and they would fill out a little survey. This survey will be completed before and after the class. And what we're asking your questions are, what do you wish you were taught in school about technology? We give some examples. What technology or tech skills did you find you needed during the pandemic but didn't have? What did you learn through the pandemic that will benefit you moving forward? Is there a particular skill set that you haven't mastered that you feel would be helpful to learn? Are there things that you do more efficiently now due to the pandemic? And do you think what do you think would be beneficial to teach your self-advocacy groups, friends, community, and peers about technology? So it tends to be very pandemic based, and I believe normally we took a bit of the pandemic stuff off, but during the pandemic, we really saw it was a game changer. It changed everything. We really saw the importance of technology and how important it was for individuals to have access to technology. This is something that I often say, and I'm so proud of the self-advocates for this bit of information. But prior to the pandemic, the self-advocate coordinators throughout the state reached 6,000 contacts yearly. So every year, 6,000 contacts, they got their message of self-advocacy out to 6,000 people. When COVID hit and we all went virtual, the first year after we were all online, they did 115,000 contacts in 1 year. This last year, they reached out to 164,000 contacts. It just goes to show how important technology is, and if used right, how the message can really go out to so many more people. There are so many people, oftentimes we hear people think that, technology can be isolating. It's actually the opposite. There's more evidence and more proof that it is the extreme opposite, and that it has assisted people in these situations than any proof that it isn't. I'm going to show you a few slides of the presentation itself, of the curriculum that was created, so you could see the great job that these guys did. So you guys are still seeing my screen, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So every person that takes the class to receive the badge will also have a copy of this curriculum. This curriculum is important, and the way we set it up is really important too, because they don't have to turn into a teacher overnight. They will have this PowerPoint to guide them through. So I'm going to have to actually stop showing and then show again because I didn't hit the audio. So let me minimize this. Go back to here. I always forget to hit that audio button, unfortunately. So share and include computer sound. Okay, everybody with me, or are we seeing a black screen?
This is Greg for DDS. I still have the screen up with the iPhone picture on.
Okay, cool. Excellent. I'm the one that has the issues, so I always have to ask you guys that. I'm sorry if I ask it to you so many times, but I tend to show a black screen often. So so here's the iPhone, and it's the SE3. So it's not the latest iPhone, but the other wonderful thing that the self-advocate coordinators did was the curriculum that they created is specific to the devices, the actual model, the year, the everything of the device that's inside of the backpack. So here's the iPhone SE3, and let me show you. So they have the PowerPoint, they've taken the class, they know it themselves, they have to teach it again. Well, there's no need to worry because this is what the self-advocate coordinators did.
Buddy, welcome to this presentation where we'll be learning all about how to set up and use the iPhone SE3. Well, let's get started.
That's Yana. Show you an example of another one.
These are all the parts of the iPhone SE3. In the next video, we're going to go through a tour of all of these parts.
I have to skip the video because the video is quite long. Actually, it's 22 minutes. So people they'll have the option to go to that video. But and the class is as basic as just turn on the iPhone, how to turn it on, how to shut it off, just the basic functions.
And to learn how to set up your new iPhone SE3. To turn on the phone, press and hold the side button until the Apple logo displays.
So there are several on the phone because there's a lot to talk about on the phone. Then we go into just learning the home screen. They will go home with additional information, which is just basically the basic apps that come on the phone, that come with the phone, so you know not to delete those. I don't think you can delete them. I think they're just apples, but they are the basic ones that come with the phone. Adding a payment method to your Apple ID if they choose to do that. Important things like the control center. How to make a call. How to set up your FaceTime. How to set up iMessage. Simplest of things. And how to use Siri. How to use Siri is important, especially for people who may have difficulty manipulating the phone with their hands, so they could talk to Siri and they could have Siri, they could function the phone through Siri. And then something as basic as how to charge the phone, knowing how to charge the phone. There is an additional video to this, and that's one of the other lessons that I was talking to you about, how to charge the phone even faster, which Yana had some great information, which, you know, I didn't know. You put your phone on airplane mode and charge it, and it's actually charges 40% faster than it would if you just plug it into the wall. Also, by using the Apple charger, an adapter that you plug into the wall, increases the percentage time for you to charge the phone. So there's just all this really great information that the self-advocates coordinators brought to the table, and I'm just I'm so excited and proud of just what a great job they did. They need to be proud of themselves for the great job that they did, and I'm constantly telling them that when I see them. These are the products. So you have the Lenovo, which has a stand that kicks back, and it can hold itself up. You have the hotspot, which is a T-Mobile device. The headphones are wireless, so they can be used with the devices. So we'll have to teach how to connect that wireless connection to the phones. And these are videos that Kevin came up with, and he did the same as Yana. He speaks at the bottom of each video, so that a person, when they go to teach someone else, it will be guided through the self-advocate coordinator's voice in the corner of each slide. And how to use the iPhone. He touches briefly on that because Yana goes into that with great detail. And the mouse. The mouse was a great idea that we had thought of these other devices, but the self-advocate coordinator said, you know, we should have a mouse, a wireless mouse, because some people, you know, with dexterity problems might need to use a mouse. So it's something that we added to the other devices. Kevin goes on to speak about how the headphones actually work in great detail as well. And then we have videos on each of them as well, which makes a much longer presentation. And when we're talking about the conference and it's a 45-minute presentation, you know, we have to cut it down and cut some of these videos out, but they will be still accessible to everyone. Yes, Greg, were you going to say something?
Yeah, this is Greg McMahon from DDS. Just a question was asked about the charging. I think we were all intrigued by that information that we didn't know. But it was asked to whether that's just for iPhones or all cell phones in regard to charging faster.
So, as I mentioned, it is specific to this particular iPhone, because so for all iPhones, I don't know, but we everybody did, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Everybody did their homework on this particular iPhone, so we know. Okay, we know that it's specific to this iPhone. But I will be trying it on my own iPhone as well, to see if that's it, and I can and I'll get back to you on that.
If I can add to that, this is Kevin Arce, I'm the coordinator. Is that all right, Patricia?
Yes, please.
I just want to say, you're talking about charging what do you call it, devices, correct? I just want to make sure I heard it right?
Charging the actual iPhone.
Yeah, I just want to add to that what you just said. There are other types of chargers that will work, but if you're gonna charge a specific device, such as, like you said, an iPhone or an Android, it's best to use the original charger. Otherwise, it's not gonna charge as fast as other, devices. just thought I'd like, put that out there because, something I think we can add to the
Yes.
PowerPoint division.
Yep. No, actually, it is in the PowerPoint, and that's what I was saying. There's an
Oh, okay, I didn't
additional
see it
class.
there.
There's an additional little class just on charging, and those are some of the details.
Okay,
That
okay,
you
I'm
as well
sorry.
as Yana and Varian brought to everyone's attention. And there's other things as well. For instance, what I had said, you lose your phone, the ability to be able to delete it remotely if you can't find it, or if you do find it and whoever has it isn't going to return it. To be able to delete all of your information remotely is an extremely valuable piece of information to know.
Yes, it is, it is.
Yeah. So I see a hand. Lena, you have your hand up.
Okay.
Yes, Lena Esposito, Connecticut Family Support Network. It's a great information, but I want to know if we are going to have this one in another language, like in Spanish or.
Currently it's in English, but it can be put into Spanish. Yo hablo español, so that can be done. It would be, virtual, not great on written translation. But I could do a virtual class and do the little parts in Spanish. It would take some time, but it can be done.
This is Greg McMahon from DDS. Just so folks know, Lauren posted a link how to learn more about the conference coming up
Thank you.
in our chat.
Thank you, Lauren. Thank you very much, Lauren. Are there any other questions? So, AT&E is just, it really is a great program. It did, like I said, it had international success. It had a huge impact on so many people's lives. I'm hoping that, this is going to have a huge impact on people's lives. Dr. Ellis?
Hi, Cheryl Ellis, Director, DEI, DDS. So and I'm assuming that and this is a big assumption, that all of the equipment is fairly expensive to some degree. And I know people sometimes have challenges when they're learning and things break. Do we have insurance, or is there a way to replace items if they are broken accidentally?
What we are doing is, so we got the hotspot and the phone through T-Mobile. And T-Mobile will be providing a line that people can call into and not have to wait long periods of time or dealing. They know that this particular phone number will be specific to DDS individuals looking to assist them with any troubleshooting with those two devices. The products will come with their actual with their warranty, like every product comes with. We'll be able to, for 1 year, because it's paid for in advance by DDS, the products, the hotspots and the phones. In the back end, we'll be able to see who owns what. So if something did go wrong, we would have the serial numbers and all of that information as well. So.
Thank you.
Did I fully answer that, Cheryl?
Yes.
Thank
you so much.
Yeah. We're gonna do our best to make sure people are using them, because if you get it into people's hands and they're not using it, it can be a waste of money, and I'm not about that. It's not my money, but I act like it is. And I'm very, very frugal with it and careful with it, because I really, really want to see, I want to see the biggest impact, the biggest impact that these programs, that these initiatives can make on the lives of the individuals that we support. Anyone else have any questions?
This is
I have
Greg McMahon. Oh, go ahead. I think that's Cheryl. Yes, go ahead, Cheryl.
I'm sorry, Cheryl Ellis, DEI, DDS. Are we going to collect any specific data around use, who's using, how they're using, anything of that nature?
Yes, we can collect the usage of it, how they're using it in the apps and stuff like that. We'll be able to collect the usage of how much the hotspot's being used, and how often the phones are being used. And it's going to be important too, because if they're not being used at all, that's an issue. So yes, we'll be able to collect some of the data. As far as the apps that are on them and stuff, that is up to each individual. They'll have to put in their debit card or what have you to get those apps. So that would be their own information.
This
Any
is
other
Greg McMahon from DDS. Patricia, I don't know if you were going to present any other additional sort of updates, but I'm wondering if, because it kind of relates to Lena's question about folks who are nonverbal. We had the NOO or RFP, I don't remember what it was, for the assessments.
Yes, yes.
Could you provide an update on that?
Sure. Actually, let me pull up my let me pull up my whole spreadsheet on my, I'll go through quite a few different initiatives that we've got going on. I had a little sneeze attack there for a minute. Let's see. I'll just open this one. I have another one, but I'll just open this one right now. Give me a second, please. Okay. This one's a little outdated, but we'll just we'll base off of this one. So let me share my screen with you again. So we currently have a lot of initiatives going on right now. One of them is an initiative for an RFP that we have going on, and that's for evaluations. So we have put out a referral.
Excuse me, Patricia, this is Greg McMahon from DDS.
Yes.
You talked about sometimes having a black screen up.
Yes.
This is one of those times.
This
We've
is
got
one
a
of those
black
times?
screen.
Okay, great. Thank you for telling me that. And that'll allow me to remove some information I didn't want to show anyway. So let me get rid of information while I'm at it. See, black screens can be good. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you control. Okay, Greg, just take control. And that will allow me, that's my workaround. Yep, that's my workaround the black screen. So we shouldn't be seeing a black screen anymore. Am I right? You still see a black screen?
This is Greg from DDS. No,
Okay, excellent.
we've got it up. Thank you.
Okay, great. So, request for proposal. That is an RFP, a request for proposal. And what we did was we put out a request for proposal, and then we look for different businesses, entities to answer our call, which is we were looking to establish a contract with an entity, a business, to do 150 assistive technology assessments a year over 2 years. So that'd be 150 the first year, 150 the second year. Assessments are extremely important. Assistive technology assessments are extremely important. When done correctly, it gets the right assistive technology into individuals' hands that they need to accomplish the tasks that they need to accomplish. Otherwise, this technology, they wouldn't be able to accomplish these tasks without this technology. So it also cuts down on product abandonment. At times, I've been in situations where families, individuals, friends have said, Sarah's using this product, and I think it would be really good for Tommy. So, I'd like to get Tommy this particular product. And it really doesn't work that way. Assistive technology, the process of acquiring assistive technology and going through an assessment is so person-centered. It just aligns with DDS and how we are. It is very person-centered, is particular, customized to that person's needs. So in getting this RFP answered and finding an entity to do all of these requests, we'll get the right assistive technology and a lot more assistive technology into the hands of individuals who really need it. So I am excited about that. We have agencies that do assistive technology assessments right now, but there aren't many. So it is it's a demand that it's a demand put on the agencies that are doing it, but to be able to meet the demand that we have, there isn't enough. There isn't enough providers that can provide those assessments. So that's why we invested in trying to find an entity that could do these assessments. A lot of times we get requests because right now we have a notice of opportunity. We had 2 notice of opportunities that we did last year, and NOOs, we call them. And this was to get AT into people's hands, get the right AT into people's hands. And oftentimes individuals, families would be asking for something. And my first question was, did you have an assessment? How did you come to the conclusion that you needed that particular device? Because it's extremely important, because if it's not their device, and oftentimes if you picked a device for me, and it's not the device that's right for me, I don't like, I'm not going to use, it's going to sit on a shelf. When not doing an assessment, when not having people who are qualified to get that technology into people's hands, the rate of abandonment is over 85%. So that's money that's wasted. It's time that's wasted. And it's more frustration that that individual has to deal with not having the right technology to help them just do simple things in their life that they really could benefit from that assistive technology in order to accomplish it. So there was one for individuals and families. 18 individuals received AT products. There's one for providers, qualified providers in these particular situations here. Those providers then sought assistive technology for different individuals, and 183 individuals received assistive technology. So combining these two, I believe it came out to 201 individuals received assistive technology in the last two NOs that we had. This NO that's out right now, these numbers aren't correct. These numbers are actually quite higher because this is an older file that I pulled up. But it is the same as the first two that were done. It is it's just the second round of it. These will be ongoing. They have to end because of the end of the fiscal year, so the end of June. But starting in July, it'll start up again. So we'll be getting assistive technology out to people. We've worked out some kinks. It's been difficult getting just the process, the approval process, but we've been working those out to get AT into people's hands faster. This isn't one of my initiatives, but I keep it here. And one of the things is we've connected with 23 other states on remote supports. So remote supports is a new service offered by the Department of Developmental Services. And remote supports is basically it is putting devices, using assistive technology, using technology to oversee someone, or for someone to have access to a staff member, but virtually from another location. So the staff member is located at another location. And if something is needed, if there is an emergency, they then call in and they get direct support, a person into that house to help the individual. But oftentimes we're seeing that someone doesn't have to be there, and we're seeing individuals as well. Throughout a lot of the other states, what I hear a lot, they have a lot of video success stories, and I hear individuals saying, with the direct support professional turnover, there's so much turnover and there's a shortage that they're constantly having different people within their house all the time, and they don't want that. They want to live on their own, and they don't want to have a different person in their house all the time. So the videos that they have of people that are really happy and satisfied with remote supports, it's one of the things that they often say. So remote supports is a great opportunity for individuals to live on their own. I did direct care for over 20 years, and I saw individuals many times that could have lived on their own. And it could have been something as simple as medication. They weren't able at the time. We're talking a while ago. So they weren't able to give themselves medication. Now with MedMinders, that one little hurdle that can be met with a MedMinder can allow somebody to live independently. So there's a lot of technology out there that can allow someone to live independently. So there is 23 states. We have 23 assistive technology directors who meet once a month, and we discuss what's going right, what's not going right. We talk about remote supports. We talk about assistive technology. I love it. I love talking about AT. So for me, it's like I love the third Wednesday of every month. But one of the things that we did is I created a SharePoint site on DDS's server. So what that does is it means everybody meets on our server, on our Teams meetings, and we've created a resource library. So all of the states, instead of reinventing the wheel on different topics that come up with, and remote supports being a new service, instead of reinventing the wheel, we are able to learn from each other. And they can upload their documents on something that we're working on, and we can compare our documents to theirs, gather information on what worked and what didn't, and develop the best programs that we can moving forward. AT&Me, I already mentioned that to you guys. The AT conference, that's another initiative that we have going on right now, which, as I mentioned, is June 22nd. And thank you so much for putting that information on there. I have a lot going on at the same time, so I have things that are ready to go. But just one more thing, which is one more thing to go right now. So we're holding off on this one, which is the DSO, GSE, NOO, which is to get assistive technology into different providers' locations where they're offering DSOs and GSEs, because we want self-advocates to be able to have their advocacy meetings like they did prior to COVID. They would go to these different locations and they would meet with people and they would discuss advocacy. They discuss different topics. But when COVID came, we lost some of those advocacy groups because they didn't have the technology to have the virtual meetings. So I want to get the technology into these different providers' locations so that they can have these virtual meetings. It'll also increase the ability for self-advocate coordinators to get the word out as well. So that's the next one: increase self-advocate coordinator outreach and presence throughout the state. Cost effectively build out and strengthen existing internet infrastructure throughout the state. So that's one thing that we did. Different CLAs, ICFs, and respite centers. So we have 12 respite centers. In the 12 respite centers, we made them smart facilities. And in making them smart facilities, what we did was we realized that we had technology in there last year. We increased and improved the technology that's in there now, and it will continue to change. So by improving the internet infrastructure, we're getting ready for the future. We're getting ready for the future to be able to bring in new and modern devices that the bandwidth will be able to handle. Why did we do this? We wanted the respite centers to be smart facilities so that when families come, individuals staying there can use the technology, learn the technology, but families can come in and they can see other options to taking care of individuals, things that might make life, a bit easier, things that they might see and say, this individual could live on their own by using this device that they wouldn't have otherwise have known, that they can actually ask to be taught how to use, or they can use themselves. So it's a showcase. They're showcasing the technology to have families and individuals learn assistive technology. Lending libraries. Lending libraries is something that exists throughout the state now through the CT Tech Act. There are many different lending libraries. And what they basically are is providers take on the ability to have technology, to have assistive technology devices at their location. If someone needs an iPad, they can go and borrow the iPad, use the iPad, and then return the iPad. Lending libraries are important because it is a try it before you buy it mentality. It gives individuals that opportunity to try it before they buy it, which is extremely, extremely important. Again, cut back on product abandonment. Allow the individual to see what exactly works for them. Am I talking too much and too long? Am I taking away from other things that you guys have to do?
This is Greg McMahon from DDS. It looks like you may have a lot more on your
I could talk all day,
on
Greg,
this, so we probably should begin to wrap up because we do have a few other things we need to do. And I want to give that opportunity for any other questions that come up.
I'm glad I asked. Yep. Yeah, and please feel free to call me at any time. Anyone who would like to, because let me get rid of this here too. Are you guys still seeing my screen? Because I'm not seeing what you're seeing. So let me try to stop sharing my screen now, and I'll just close the comments. So I've stopped sharing my screen. Open this up. I get excited about assistive technology. I am a geek at heart. I always have been. I'm always following the trends. I'm always ahead of the trends because it fascinates me, the direction that technology is moving. I think back, and it wasn't that long ago, where we were using AOL, listening to that phone sound going on and trying to connect. It really wasn't that long ago that we didn't know what domain names were. You know, we didn't know much about, you know, the internet really isn't that old if you think about it. So if you think in this short time that technology is just advanced, and you see how it's advancing now, we live in an incredible time. We really, really do. So please call me on your own if you want to talk about any topic on assistive technology, remote supports. Remote supports is something we're moving forward with that we're really, really excited about. It offers great opportunities for individuals. So please feel free to call me, and I will gladly have a conversation with you on anything AT, remote supports or anything.
This is Greg McMahon from DDS. Thank you, Patricia. Are there questions or comments from the group I'd like to forward to Patricia? Lena, I see your hand is up.
Yes, Esposito, Connecticut Family Support Network. Patricia, I want to ask you about the is any program special for the people with blind or hard hearing?
So the CT Tech Act does cater specific to individuals, and at the conference, we you know, they do present a lot of assistive technology and a lot of different opportunities for people who are blind or low vision. So Arlene Lugo, CT Tech Act. There's many different programs and stuff that she has going on for that. We're also offering that if individuals do not see the brochure, that it can be read. We will have a few in larger print. Any other questions? You're welcome.
This is Greg McMahon from DDS. Again, thank you, Patricia. And there's thanks on the chat from Kim and Shannon, and very much appreciate. There's a lot going on. And just one update, I'm not exactly sure the mechanism, but the conference coming up in June, end of June, initially was going to be a cost to folks attending, but that cost is being waived for individuals and families. So we want to make sure people are aware of that, so that we can get some good attendance. It's going to be a good, exciting conference. So
sign up as soon as you can, because a lot of people are signing up. So please sign up as soon as you can.
yeah,
Okay.
and Sharon, Lauren added that all of the codes are on the DDS website for the waived fee. Thank you, Lauren.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about this. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks for being here,
Thank
Patricia.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Have a great day, guys.
You too.
You
You
too.
too.
Bye.
This is Greg McMahon from DDS. We'll move on to our next agenda item, and that is Lauren Gray for a communications update.
Good morning, everybody. This is Lauren Gray from DDS, and I'm going to do this very quick. I know we have just a few minutes, right, Greg?
We have till 11:30.
Oh, okay. No. All right. Well, I'm still going to try to be quick and succinct. So thank you all for having me. I just wanted to give a few updates about the DDS website. So as we were just looking at, here is all of the information about the AT conference app, and the link to register is the Eventbrite link, and you can use these codes for a waived registration fee. So please check that out. But more importantly, or just as importantly, is we have a new website, ct.gov/step. This is where you can look at all of the updates on STEP, what it is, what it means, what are the 7 core supports we're focused on through STEP. We have the newsletters and informational fact sheet. I'll go over all this in just a minute, but we also have video recordings and presentation slides from the May forums. If you were not able to attend the May forums on all of the 7 topics that we're highlighting through STEP, we have the recorded video presentations and the presentation slides. So you can look through these for more information about STEP and more information about each topic. Like Patricia just went through assistive technology, what it is. So this is a really good resource. I definitely encourage you to look at if you missed any of the May forums. We have, again, the videos and slides for each of the topics. Also on the STEP page, we have links to the Fourth Tuesday forums. And as I said, the STEP newsletters and STEP fact sheet. So the STEP fact sheet is a really good resource about what STEP is, what are the core supports, how does STEP impact me, how do I take the next step? And this is available in English and Spanish for you to download, for you to share. I hope this is useful as a resource. And most recently, we have the June newsletter that's also available in English and Spanish under STEP resources. And the June newsletter highlights a letter from Commissioner Jordan Sheff, a little feature, Happy Pride Month to everybody, an update from providers, summer events, and as a reminder to please sign up for our email updates because we are sending more email updates these days. So again, this website is really useful as a resource for updates on STEP, and it'll be continually updated. You can type in ct.gov/STEP and it'll take you right here. Or from the homepage of DDS, you can click STEP, the second link under helpful resources, to get to the page as well. Does anyone have any questions about the STEP web page? Okay. Next, Greg, I definitely want your help on this, but I wanted to show you guys one of the most updated supportive housing informational fact sheets. So this is what most of the informational fact sheets will look like. We're just going to update this link up here to ct.gov/STEP, and these will be available on the STEP website. They'll also later in the summer have accompanying videos with them, but this is the flow of how the highlighted 7 core supports will look. We'll have a definition up top, how it's typically staffed, and benefits and challenges. But Greg, do you want to say anything about this?
Yes, this is Greg McMahon from DDS. I asked Laura to put this up today because this is kind of the fruits of our labor. We went through and it's almost unrecognizable to what we presented because it looks real good, but it's all the same information that we put together and you folks reviewed and offered feedback on. So I thought it was important you see what the work we've done looks like when we're done. And I think the design is very nice and usable. And it has all the information that we reviewed and includes the input you all provided. So thank you for that. I think you've done a good job, and the department and everybody involved has done a good job on putting together some simple, straightforward information from families. So yeah, that was my input. And Shannon, you have your hand up.
Yes, this is Shannon Jacobino, DDS ombudsperson. I'm really proud too when I look at this. Great work on the part of our committee. Lauren, I should know this, but I don't. Are we gonna have these translated into Spanish? Do you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
is no pun intended, the next step. So we are waiting on one more of them to be finalized. We just need some permissions for some photos. And then again, we're changing this and removing the videos since the videos won't be available until later this summer. These are being very, very slightly updated and being translated into Spanish this week and next week.
This is Greg McMahon for DDS. Lauren, so do you know what's the timeline for release of the one-page descriptions?
So we're trying to release all of them at once, and as soon as we get permission for a couple more photos and change this, I mean, my goal would be to have these available within the next 2 weeks. And of course, we'll send these out on the website, and these will be featured in the upcoming September newsletter as well, that these are available.
Thank you.
And again, these will live on the STEP website, so they'll be linked out here from each of these. They'll go to their own page with that'll be similar to this. It'll say the core support, it'll say supportive housing at the top with a little blurb, and it'll have links to the fact sheet, the videos, and more things like that for each of these 7 core supports, as well as where to find more information. And just a couple more things, as I said, we really want to keep encouraging people to sign up for the newsletter. So if you're on the DDS website, subscribe for e-updates. We really want to encourage people. We have about 1,100 unique emails right now, but we definitely want to get more people signed up. It's a good way to reach people. We have about a 60 to 75% open rate, which is really good for all of our emails, and it's a really great way to reach people quickly. Please encourage people to sign up for our email updates. As you're talking to people, I have it in my email signature if you'd like to copy it and put it. It's just an easy way to communicate with people. And we've also been updating our social media more, and we're trying to do multiple updates a week. Facebook is running really slow today. But we have events up here. We have different posts. Last week was we did some things about Pride, but we have reminders for upcoming events. Save the dates. We have all kinds of stuff here. So don't forget to follow us on social media, YouTube and Twitter and Facebook, and all of our Fourth Tuesday forums, the committee meetings, the STEP forums. All of these are also on our YouTube, so you can, find anything you're looking for here.
This is Greg McMahon from DDS. I think Shannon has a question or comment.
Hi, first of all, Lauren, thank you so much, because so many of the recommendations that our committee has made regarding improving communication with individuals and families are being implemented, and you deserve full credit for that. So thank you. I also was going to suggest that maybe the e-update, that maybe there be like a box on the STEP page, like maybe putting that in different areas where there's a lot of traffic, so that we can maybe boost the number of people who are signing up.
This is Lauren Gray from DDS. That's a really great suggestion, and I will add that to the STEP page and other pages. And this will also be a part of the new website. Greg, would you like me to talk about the new website coming?
Yes, thank you.
Lauren Gray again from DDS. I don't know how many times I need to say that. But we are in the process of a website modernization launch. So this is a statewide initiative to update the agency website. So our website is going to look like the Department of Labor website probably in August. So we are working on this. So this is the new look and feel. So it'll say Connecticut Department of Developmental Services. This will be a STEP highlighted section. And it'll be a little bit easier to read and navigate with pictures and images and direct links here with a little bit easier navigation at the top. Obviously, ours won't have all of this, but we'll be combining a few pages like our contact us page will have divisions and regions. We'll have a about section. But this new page will be launching hopefully in August is the goal. And on every single page, it will have, instead of like, having to go back to the DDS homepage, it'll have all of the social media buttons, and more important on the bottom and on the top, bottom, and side of every single page. So like what Shannon suggested about the e-updates, we won't have to add that to so many pages because it'll always be at the top, side, and bottom. But this new web page launch will be coming hopefully in August. All of the I see there's a hand up, but I do want to say this, like all of the website links will mostly remain the same. So our website link will still be the same, and a lot of the same information will be on there. It'll just be categorized a little bit differently. I don't know if I should answer questions. Okay.
Yeah,
This is
good.
Shannon Giacomino, DDS Ombudsperson. Lena has a question.
Yes, Lena Esposito, Connecticut Family Support Network. Lauren, I want to ask you, do you think that maybe the DTS page, maybe they can create one part for community events from the other organizations, or that's not going to be possible? Just to ask.
So this is Lauren Gray from DDS. We have asked about that, and right now they don't have a calendar function, but so we won't have a functioning calendar, but what we do hope to have is a page of upcoming events in the interim instead of like a calendar. Is that helpful?
Lena Esposito, Connecticut Family Support Network. Yeah, that would be wonderful because, we have, my organization, they has a lot of workshops and events and the same favor and CPAC, and, then it would be wonderful if you guys can create some space that we can post it, our events. That is
Great.
good.
Thank you for that suggestion.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. This is Lauren Gray from DDS. And I think so on I think it's like news and events is the categorization. So I really hope that's helpful. And thank you for that suggestion. And currently on the website, you can, I know it's a little bit cumbersome, but you can see upcoming events under the news section, which again, I like the new layout of the new website because it's a little bit easier to navigate and find things. But if you go down here under latest news, we do have a lot of upcoming events on our latest news and on our social media. So I hope that's helpful in the meantime. And Shannon, thank you for the compliment earlier. I definitely couldn't have done it without like all of you and all of your suggestions. And if you have any suggestions for how we can improve communications, I am definitely willing to listen and learn from all of you, because what makes it easier for our individuals and families is what we should be doing. So I'm definitely working on improving things quite frequently. The website updates, we have quite a few of them. So I usually have in request, and then Shannon will send me an email suggestion, and I'm like, oh, it's already in the works. But please, send me suggestions if you see something that you don't think is quite right. Please feel free to email me, and thank you for having me today.
Okay, thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Lauren. This is Greg McMahon from DDS. Shannon was clapping, so I got a little distracted there. Okay, our next agenda item is if there's any updates from the Deloitte folks. You're
Yes,
up.
this is Owen Strom from Deloitte. Thanks, Greg. I should be pretty brief today, but we wanted to share a quick update on the training sessions that are upcoming for providers and DDS staff. So to support those sessions, we've put together some guidance materials just to make sure the providers have all the information that they need and have tools to develop and submit transition plans. And one of those tools is a budget spreadsheet that's an example and is populated with information from a sample provider. And I just wanted to briefly show you all what that looks like and how providers can use it. So I will share my screen briefly. Not sure how many of you have seen this step budget spreadsheet before, but it's fairly straightforward. What providers do is that each line item in the spreadsheet represents an individual that's transitioning. And so this tool is meant to show them, it's to help them calculate the total number of incentives that they qualify for based on the successful transitions that are happening. And so what we've done here is for both residential, which is this tab, and day transitions, we have filled in sample accepted transitions, either from CLAs or CRSs or congregate day supports to individualized supports, and shown sample current annual funding totals based on plans that have been submitted by other providers, just to give others a realistic expectation of what they would potentially be seeing in terms of incentive figures. So here there are 3 sample transitions or 3 individuals that are making transitions as part of this make-believe plan. And the incentives associated with them are calculated in this column over here. I think the overall purpose of this is to show providers that in order to submit a successful plan, it doesn't have to be paragraphs and paragraphs of text. It's actually very straightforward in the budget sense. And how long these plans are and how many rows they are depend on the complexity and the overall size of the transformation that the provider is proposing. So for this one, obviously the provider is engaging in both residential and day transformation, but with 7 total individuals. So the scale is not as large as some of the others we might expect. But yeah, this is meant to be illustrative and just help providers to understand what the process looks like, how they should be shaping their plans, and what they can expect in terms of incentives. So ideally, this is very helpful and simplifies the plan submission process for them, and it'll reinforce everything that we share in the training sessions. So please let us know if you have any questions about this, but it is fairly straightforward and hopefully a helpful tool.
Thank you, Owen. This is Greg McMahon from DDS. Just 2 things I wanted to add. One is Owen had mentioned that that this is a straightforward way that doesn't need paragraphs and paragraphs. There still is a detailed transition plan that's submitted by each agency that does give a bit, detail on sort of the why they're doing what they're doing and how they're interacting with their families and any number of other things that is reviewed by each region. So this is sort of the addendum to that that quantifies what they're doing. And I don't know if you've noticed, the incentives are very large. This really is something that hopefully providers are going to do. It will help their financial health and it'll help the people we support. So and it's moving along very well. Are there any questions for Owen from the group? And do you have anything else, Owen?
Owen shown Deloitte. Nope, that's all from me.
Okay, thank you. Okay, then next agenda item is we wanted, as we showed the supportive housing 1-page description, I wanted to show you, if I have the technology, if Patricia were only still on, to call up the video. There's been some hesitation about showing the video before they're all done. because we don't want to sort of throw it out piecemeal. But I thought it was important that the committee see, again, the fruits of our labor and an example of one. But the rest of them, as they come out, are probably going to be held with a more sort of a release date, so that they will have more impact in that way. But for the moment, we're going to show you this one. And let me share my screen.
Greg, whenever you share your screen, just click the button that says include computer sound. Just make sure you do that.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Is the screen up, like a big gray screen?
Yes.
Okay. Where's the button I have to hit, Lauren?
Oh, it was on, so you have to do it originally. So when you click share screen, it's like if you click share, you have to click like include computer sound. It's right beside the share content page, like, or statement at the very top when you click share.
Do you have sound now?
Try to play it. No. Yeah, I think try to reshare. Stop sharing and then reshare.
Okay, sorry about this, everybody. I'm learning as we go. Okay, so at this point, I am not sharing.
Okay, so click share again.
Okay.
And then at the very top where it says share content, you see that include computer sound?
I've got it. Thank you.
Yep.
No. All right, this is Greg from DDS. Do you see the movie screen, supportive housing label? Does everybody see the screen?
Kimberly Bus TDS, I do.
Okay, here goes. Let's hope for sound.
The program came about as an opportunity for us to have Kim in an independent environment. And that's something that we pretty much wanted for her.
We had built an apartment upstairs in our home, so she got the feel of what it's like to be responsible. So when this opportunity came, we're ready to grab it.
I like being safe in here with my roommate and my boyfriend, of course. I really like him very much. He's one of my favorite.
What does he like about you?
Well, he likes me the way I am.
The mission of the Connecticut Department of Developmental Services is to partner with individuals and their families to create meaningful opportunities for individuals to fully participate as valued members of their communities.
I think she really loves the independence. At first, I didn't know how independent she really could be, how she would grow in this environment.
The goal of supportive housing is to create an apartment community where people with and without intellectual disabilities can live in community together, where it feels natural for everybody that lives there. Individuals who move into these apartments quickly call their new apartment their home. And when their parents call them up and ask them if they want to come home to the family home, they quickly have different perceptions of what home is. And that's disappointing to the families, and yet at the same time, you know, they're super encouraged that this is working.
We still have to be an active role in her life. So we're here often, taking her to her doctor's appointments for it, grocery shopping to make sure that she's buying the appropriate things. But besides that, we love coming and she loves having us, so I think.
So if a family wants to be there every day for the first 2 weeks or the first 2 months or the first 2 years, they can. We have some families that stop by every day. We have other families that do it for a couple weeks and then they back off. We have some families that rarely come over because they value the independence that their adult children have and want.
I like being my own. I like my roommate. We do stuff together and, chores done. And we like living here. I am safe in here.
Challenge Kimberly, give her the right tools and challenge her and give her the right support. And I know she can do it. I'm really proud of her.
One of the things that we see often is a parent's reaction that they're super pleased and surprised at how quickly somebody adapts to the new apartment. And at the same time, they're disappointed at how quickly they don't want to come back to the family home.
As parents too, sometimes you have to look at the best interests of the child. You have to let go. It's just, one of those things where daddy's little girl didn't want to see her go.
The Connecticut Department of Developmental Services offers a variety of support to help individuals live as independently as possible in places where they can use their personal strengths, talents, and passion. Visit our website to learn more.
This is Greg from DDS. I gather that worked. Hopefully you all could see and hear the video. So that is the final product. And again, McDowell had met with us, asked for feedback, and I think much of what we suggested was covered in there, and is a good example of supportive housing that will pair very well with the one-page description. And all that will be, as Lauren had said earlier, grouped together on the website. So, any thoughts on the video from the group? Okay. All right. I'm sorry, Cheryl, did you have your hand up?
I do. Thank you. I think it was really well done, and it was a nice snippet, very honest, felt very authentic. Are there other videos where there are people of color speaking, brown and Black folks, maybe talking about their experiences as well?
This is Greg from DDS. I'm going to ask if Lauren can weigh in. I'm not familiar with the cast of all the videos that are being in the process of being produced. I don't know if you are, Lauren.
Hi, this is Lauren Gray from DDS. Dr. Ellis, thank you for that question. We have some diversity in some of the upcoming videos. We do have some people of color in a couple of the videos, and we still have to produce a couple and reshoot a couple of coming up. So that's always a thing we are keeping in mind.
Thank you.
Okay. The next agenda item today is if there's any topics for future meetings. I think we've covered most of the updates through Lauren's presentation, but are there any other topics that people want to put on the agenda for future meetings? Okay, this is Greg McMahon from DDS. Not hearing any, so we'll move on to the announcement of our next meeting, which is scheduled for Monday, the 26th at 10 o'clock. I also wanted to note here that we had some discussions about reducing the frequency of meetings because we've done a lot of the work, but we also are concerned that we could end up getting some things that need review, and that a month, if we met every month, that wouldn't be frequently enough if we had something we wanted you to see and offer input on. So what we were thinking was we are going to keep our cadence of meeting essentially every 2 weeks. But you may find, like last time, if we don't have a lot of things for the committee to do, we will cancel meetings, but we want to keep it on everybody's calendar so that if we produce something that needs your eyes on, we don't have to wait a full month. A lot of the one-pagers and videos require urgent action at times, and we want to make sure we're flexible to give that feedback. Does that make sense for folks? Okay. So I think that wraps up our agenda for today. So if anyone would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Lane Esposito, Connecticut Family Support Network.
Thank you, Leah.
And this is Jerry Kogut, a parent and vice chair of the board of Mid-State ARC as a second.
This is Greg McBain from DDS. Thank you very much. The meeting is adjourned.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thanks,
guys.